Today we're signing, and this is very historic, an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin that the federal government already owns, so it won't cost taxpayers a dime. This is like a digital Fort Knox for digital gold. And premature sales of Bitcoin over the past years cost American taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value because we didn't have a long-term strategy.
Right.
Now we do. So.
And this is something you believe in fully?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
And the whole community believes in it.
Very good. And they made the promise, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a good one.
So there you have it, the most pivotal, yet again, another historic landmark announcement by President Trump on now incorporating Bitcoin as a strategic national reserve holding in the US Treasury. This is pivotal. Now, if you recall, he's made a similar announcement for crypto reserves. So what he's done here is rather intelligent in that he's trying to separate the strategic reserve assets that the US government presently holds. And what he's trying to do with digital assets is to bifurcate into two camps. On the one hand, Bitcoin, and the other, the rest of the crypto assets that the US government are planning to incorporate. What I found, in addition to that, rather interesting is this tweet from his crypto czar, namely David Sachs, where he's actually just reconfirmed what I'm just telling you now in the earlier snippet, which was always pivotal and was always made as a pledge, as you recall, at the last Bitcoin Nashville conference last year, and he's fulfilled that promise. Now, this tweet, in addition to that announcement, he actually explained, or the actual plan for holding Bitcoin in the US Strategic Reserve, and the first of which is they're going to keep hold of their presently estimated 200,000 Bitcoins. And what I find interesting is this is just an estimate. But what they're going to do is, as a result of this executive order, is to direct a full audit of the Bitcoin holdings in terms of number. So that is pivotal and key. In addition to that, he acknowledged, the Czar, that they're going to be leveraging the Bitcoin holdings as a store of value. As a store of value, not as a medium of exchange. This is, again, very, very important. He went on to say that the reserve is like a digital Fort Knox for the cryptocurrency often called digital gold. So clearly understands, as the rest of us Bitcoiners out there, the actual fundamental attributes of Bitcoin, at least one of the key ones, which is always meant to be as a store of value. It can be treated nevertheless as a medium of exchange, but I see stablecoins taking that role. He also went on to explain they've actually estimated a result of the premature sales of the Bitcoin from Biden's team have already cost the US taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value. Now the federal government will have a strategy to maximize the value of its holdings. And he went on to say, interestingly, that the secretaries of the Treasury and the Commerce are authorized to develop budget-neutral strategies for acquiring additional Bitcoin, provided that those strategies have no incremental cost on the American taxpayers. I find this very, very interesting because this actually separates the other half of the digital assets, crypto reserve. They're not going to be planning to make any additional acquisitions of those non-Bitcoin assets in its stockpile reserve beyond those already confiscated. So this is quite interesting. I understand why he's made that separation, because clearly the US government have done their legwork and have the right people circling around the president to give him that advice to treat Bitcoin as that monetary financial store of value asset and treat the other non-Bitcoin digital assets as a utility token rather than purely financial, which is clearly Bitcoin's ultimate use case. And he went on to say that promises made, promises kept, clearly, from the president, has certainly lived up to those promises. And really, that's all I like to say, really. There's going to be this infamous White House crypto summit later today, and it'd be interesting to see the outcome of that. I know that there are some formidable guest list appearances, Michael Saylor being the main one out of the crypto industry. He's going to be attending, obviously. And having this kind of preamble announcement is quite, from a timeliness perspective, very, very important and highly relevant as he walks into this summit meeting later today in Washington. So this is good news. And it'd be interesting to see the market's reaction to this later today when the US markets wake up. So expect there to be some volatility as or when this implementation of this executive order takes into effect. But I mean, we're all confident now that there is no backtracking from this now. And it's just a question of the mid to long term repercussions going to be made known at that point. I'm very, very confident now. This is now certainly going to be causing this ripple effect that I've anticipated one of many of my previous episodes in my channel, which is all the more reason why you should subscribe. If you refer to this video, for example, at the top of me, I explain the actual battle of the sovereigns as a result of this announcement. I have anticipated that there's going to be certainly that battle of the sovereigns to do something similar. And if you recall that the Chinese President Xi Jinping has actually insinuated some public announcements that China is going to be doing something similar. So it wouldn't be at all surprise to me that the Chinese leadership have actually forced the US administration to expedite the executive order signing of this Bitcoin strategic reserve in the US. It wouldn't be at all surprised if that was influenced by the Chinese. But having said that, the games are on. The battle of sovereigns is alive and kicking. And it'll be very interesting to see how the rest of this year turns out, as I expect at least the largest economies and also the emerging economies who have always been leapfrog ahead of the first 12 nations. And you've got the example of El Salvador. So clearly there's going to be some catch up from the rest of the other smaller nation states to do something similar. So very, very interesting to see. And please cut yourself off the volatility, because this important announcement is going to have that long-lasting impact in the months and years to come, which is all the more reason why, if you see my videos on Bitcoin and blockchain related content, I have always advocated to do your research, but importantly, to not treat these type of digital assets as speculative assets. They are meant to be held as a long-term store of value, minimum 10 years in the case of Bitcoin, which is how I'm planning to manage my Bitcoin holdings, is minimum 10-year period. So I'm actually 2 out of the 10 years into it. So I'm giving myself another 8 years between now and then to start revisiting where I stand on that, where I should keep on holding it for a few more years or not. But that is the fundamental point that I want to leave you today. So good news all round, and it'll be very interesting to see how the rest of the nations now wake up to the fact of this rather important announcement that's been made by the US signing of the strategic Bitcoin reserve in its holdings. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to hit the like button, to also share the video to your friends and colleagues at work. And if you haven't done so already, to please subscribe to my channel, as I regularly publish interesting videos such as these, anything to do with Bitcoin, blockchain technology, and the future finance. So I'll see you next time.